like a lot of other rappers are in trouble because he brings a lot more quality and fun to the music than a lot of these niggas, bro.
Yeah.
Like he's less niche, more music, but he still has his own aesthetic. That's what makes him so dangerous.
Exactly. His whole
Like I
art
didn't see him
style,
come up.
his
Yeah,
vision and shit like that. It reminds me of some old Uzi shit, but it's a spinoff. Like it's more so it's his own shit. It's a branch off, if that makes sense. You know how you can look at Ken, but you could tell he's influenced from a whole lot of Red, right? But it's him still. I feel like that about Pretty Fun and Uzi.
Exactly. Nah, yeah, for sure. Like, because I didn't see him follow Uzi's footsteps all the way. It's more so just like it just makes me familiar, you know.
You know what I was gonna say too? Where Pretty Fun is going right now, especially with his sound and making music that's more fun and more enjoyable and it's good quality, he has a chance to hit the mainstream.
I feel he got more of a chance to anybody right now. Until Japan's already. He's already.
They don't even know what he got going on, but Pretty,
he gone. Pretty Fun. I feel the second we get another year where there's a Rolling Loud and a Summer Smash in the same year, while he has like an album out, yeah, it's up. Because a lot of times it takes that performance for people to see it. I'm kind of pissed we didn't get another Rolling Loud for this year.
You think we should have had one? Would.
You know the feeling. You've written your first draft for an important writing assignment, and you're ready to get it past the finish line, but you just aren't sure how.
chain taco right now. This chain taco. Open that bitch up. Open that bitch up. Flip. What? Who's that fucking lighter? Flip. Open that shit up for real. All the way. All the way. Flip. Lighter. Flip.
This shit not that fire, but it's fire. What the fuck, bro? Bro look like a demon. Look like a demon. They are the new ASAP Mobb, no cap.
Opium has been the most notable and influential rapper record label for about half a decade now, and it has been able to cultivate fans while leaving a significant impact and influence on culture in the fashion and music industry. But not only it's a label, it also operates as a creative collective with multiple members who can add value to the label's image, creating an ecosystem from which everyone can grow and benefit from. As time progresses, I realized that Cardi essentially reinvented the idea of ASAP Yam's ASAP Mobb collective and created something entirely new with Opium, and I will cover this topic in a bit. My name is Snippin' Mobb, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe below. And today I will explain how Playboi Carti's Opium label is the new ASAP Mobb. Fashion is an important element in Carti's label, with all black clothing being a major factor and motif in the label's visual world, with their creative directors Sex is Death and Opium Baby being the culprits behind their aesthetic. The label style takes inspiration from different styles in fashion, such as avant-garde and punk rock fashion. Their aesthetic also focuses on dark color palettes and intricate silhouettes. And some brands that are commonly associated with the collective include Balenciaga, Rick Owens, Vetements, and other brands that define what Opium represents in the fashion world. Although the label doesn't have an official clothing line, Cardi has released a merch collection in the past titled Narcissus, which was all promoted by his camp. He also managed to get the label a collaboration with Pelle Pelle, a brand founded in Detroit, Michigan. His artists Ken Carson and Destroy Lonely have also gotten collaborations with other fashion houses, including Ken getting a collab with Ed Hardy and Alone collaborating with 1017 Elite's 9SM. The way the label is so fashion oriented is very reminiscent of how the ASAP Mobb was in the early and later years, with ASAP Bari's V-Lone being a cornerstone of their fashion sense, which consisted largely of streetwear and high fashion. Because of Bari's success, he managed to get a collab with Nike and debuted a runway show at Paris Fashion Week. Other members in the Mobb, like ASAP Rocky and ASAP Nast, have secured collaborations with various brands, including Puma, Ray-Ban, JW Anderson, Gucci, Needles, and other fashion labels. Rocky was even the first black male to be a model for Dior Homme, and ASAP Nast has also collaborated with a multitude of brands such as Comme des Garçons, Converse, and Reebok, which goes to show how much fashion has played a significant role in the Mobb. ASAP Mobb's influence on the industry was structural. They turned rap groups into creative houses and made it comfortable to merge fashion and music into a single identity. The Mobb brought together Harlem streetwear, downtown fashion, Tumblr culture, and luxury design into one language that spoke directly to the youth, and Rocky became the face of the Mobb's aesthetic. Their influence on youth culture was phenomenal. Kids stopped dressing like rappers and started dressing like ASAP. Streetwear evolved, and suddenly it wasn't just about Jordans and gold chains, but about Raf Simons sweaters and other luxurious pieces. Rocky made designer fashion part of rap's DNA, wearing Raf Simons and Rick Owens as statements of individuality and taste. Their world was clean, luxurious, and confident, which is a contrast to the chaos Opium would later embrace. They blurred the line between art and marketing without ever losing authenticity. Their videos felt like runway shows, their covers like ad campaigns, and the Mobb didn't chase trends, they built them. And they also symbolized creative freedom. They made ambition look effortless and reshaped the relationship between streetwear and luxury while teaching the youth that self-expression could exist as both art and lifestyle. Opium's influence operates on a different stratosphere, and it speaks to a generation that's in the internet social media era. The artists under its umbrella, Ken, Lone, and Homicide, don't just make music, they shape the visual language of the label's identity. They move like characters that are in the same movie, with each one building on the label's atmosphere instead of competing with it. Opium is an entire world of sound, image, and attitude that moves like a hidden language that turned distortion, mystery, and silence into an identity. Musically, Opium changed the trajectory of modern rap. Their sound is synthetic, blown out, and hypnotic, with insane 808s, and it also rejects polish in favor of chaos. Cardi, Ken, Lone, and Homicide work within that same frequency, bending rage and melody until it becomes something post-human. And fashion is where Opium's influence hits the hardest, with Cardi making dressing feel like world building, with the Rick silhouettes and Balenciaga cuts turned into a shared visual code among fans, which made them dress like how the music sounds. They recreate the visuals, copy the energy, and use it as a way to build identity. For them, Opium isn't a fandom, but instead it's a mirror. which makes the label's pull even more fascinating. And Opium isn't replacing ASAP Mobb, but it's the next stage of the same evolution. ASAP made the blueprint for cultural influence, and Opium reprogrammed it for the digital age. One turned confidence into style, and the other turned mystery into art. Together, they defined what it means to build an ecosystem around sound and image. Now that this video has been wrapped up, I just want to say thank you guys for watching the video and just watching my content in general. I really appreciate that. And again,
You don't deserve to settle, so play a game that won't either. We've introduced major changes to agents, weapons, and maps, and this is just the beginning. For the past 5 years, we've made...
While watching the GTA 6 trailer, you might have missed some very subtle details, like people's feet kicking up sand as they run, entire interiors being generated in buildings, and light refracting through Lucia's ear. These are just 3 examples of the 6 new major patented technologies that Rockstar has created for GTA 6, all aimed towards making it the most realistic game that we've ever played. Thousands of unique interiors, the most realistic NPCs we've ever seen in gaming, and major new upgrades to online. So today, let's thoroughly break down the revolutionary technology of GTA 6. Starting with the interior generation patent. For years, there has been this rumor floating around about the possibility for 70% of all buildings in GTA 6 to be enterable, and this new patent makes the theory sound very plausible. In 2017, Rockstar filed a patent for a new technology that allowed them to generate unique in-game interiors by simply typing keywords that fit the description of what they want it to look like. The parameters can range from being a simple on and off, so for example to control an optional rug appearing or not, to any value, an example being the amount of books on a shelf or the degree of dirtiness on a door. By using various different keywords such as luxury, dirty, worn down, or modern, the developers can fit each interior to a certain aesthetic without having to manually create each one. Rockstar used the capability to generate different tints of color on clothing for NPCs in RDR2 to ensure that they didn't all look similar to one another. The patent also details a system that allows the players to edit these features as well, which implies that whether it be in GTA 6's single player or online, we will be able to create and design our own homes, though to what degree is currently unknown. The technology doesn't just work for individual interiors, but can also be utilized towards a bunch of interiors in a localized area. An example would be that instead of individually making each building an interior for a run-down, trashy place like Sandy Shores, they could instead give the keywords run down or abandoned to every interior in the area, giving the entire town the exact same feel. Now, this is one that I am personally looking forward to, the NPC AI patent. NPCs in GTA 5, while advanced for the time, are pretty straightforward. They follow a set path, don't interact with the environment at all, and have a hard time dealing with adverse situations, especially while driving. Even in RDR2, NPCs only had the ability to react to situations happening within their close proximity, and their reactions to such situations were very limited. However, Rockstar fixed this issue with their new NPC AI model. This new technology now means that NPCs can consider factors like traffic, as well as account for changing lanes when parking cars, anticipating a road exit, and weather conditions. The technology also allows for more NPC-controlled cars in a single area, making driving in places like Vice City more realistic with a denser population of cars on the road. NPCs and vehicles can also plan accordingly in case there is any type of road blockage, and this also applies to cop cars as well, so gone are the days of swerving out of the way at the last minute in order to mess up the cops. But hey, if this better pathing gets NPCs to stop turning into me while I'm headed down the road at Mach 5, resulting in me deleting that NPC from existence, I'm all for it. Now we need to discuss arguably the most important technology that Rockstar could create when it comes to making a realistic game world like GTA, the animation system patent. In previous Rockstar games, each of the characters, especially NPCs, only had a select few animations that would trigger for certain conditions. They could walk down the street, climb a flight of stairs, run away from gunfire, basic movement like that. Each of these different animations had to be individually created by Rockstar's animation team, and even worse is each set of animations had their own separate movement tree from one another. But this patent created in 2023 made it so that instead of creating a different animation for each individual situation, the technology will instead use a collection of building blocks within the character model to accurately create diverse animations. Whether the NPC is tired, walking in the rain, or eating something, for example, the building blocks can now easily portray each movement in a very unique way. In fact, we've actually seen an example of this technology already in the 2022 leaks. Though I can't show it for obvious reasons, there is a clip of Jason crouching down while covering his face with his gun, and we could clearly see what keywords were used to give Jason this animation: combat.
El épico juego de acción online War Thunder viene a machacar tus aburridos días entre semana. El legendario acorazado japonés Yamato entra en liza. ¿Ha pedido alguien artillería pesada?
Crouch, left wide, long gun, under fire, and move. Another example from the leaks is when a cop is under fire from the protagonist and is constantly shifting his height to match the cover that he is standing behind, whether it be a car or a fence. You can probably guess from this technology that removing even one of these words would give you an entirely unique animation, though only to the degree of what that word was responsible for. It could be very likely that RDR2 used technology similar to this, but it will undoubtedly be the first instance we've seen of it in a GTA game. So to summarize this patent in a way that we can all imagine, is that this technology will make it so that each movement from every character, whether NPCs or our protagonist, will be unique in their own way depending on different factors of the scene. And mix these diverse animations with the interior generation patent that could be used on characters' clothing like we saw in RDR2, means that no two characters will ever be the exact same, adding a level of realism not seen in any other game. And while we're on the topic of character animations, Take-Two also acquired Zynga at the end of 2023, which is the company who owns the Euphoria and natural motion physics that we originally saw in GTA 4 and then again in RDR2. So now they have the rights to develop it as much as they want, meaning the movements will be even better than what we've already seen. And I want to give a quick shout out to TobyLobbin30 for the very detailed analysis of this technology over on Reddit. Already from the trailers and screenshots, it's clear the graphics in GTA 6 will be unlike anything we've seen in previous games. So why not discuss how they made it better with their new graphics rendering patent? While RDR2 was already ahead of its time in terms of graphics, scenery, and the overall ambient feeling of living in a 1910s old western, GTA 6 will be leaps and bounds more immersive based on what we've learned about this technology. And there are four main parts to this patent that we will explain individually: dynamic terrain system, ambient occlusion, global illumination, and material tinting. The dynamic terrain system is exactly what it sounds like: a dynamic terrain, meaning that elements of the map can be destroyed, changed, or altered based on specific interactions. Easiest way to describe it is actually by showing an example of it we've seen in the trailers. In the beach scene from trailer 1, you can not only see footprints from people walking in the sand, but slowed down, you can also notice that their feet are kicking up sand as they walk, and this is the dynamic terrain at work. There are a few other examples, like craters forming in the ground from explosions, vehicle tracks being left in the sand or mud, and trampled paths in the grass where animals have walked through. The ambient occlusion technology has to do with how light and shading reacts within rooms, buildings, and all over the map in order to create realistic shadows, contrast, and depth perception. With darkened corners, natural light leaking from shadows, and objects casting soft, realistic shadows, rooms in GTA 6 will feel way more atmospheric. Examples might be something like an abandoned warehouse that could have broken beams with shafts of light shadowing in certain areas to show how run down it is. Global illumination, on the other hand, is a rendering technique that models how light is bounced off of one surface onto another to give a more realistic lighting without needing full ray tracing. It sounds confusing, but the TLDR is that using what's known as a bounce map, it can create more accurate lighting by simulating realistic light reflection off of surfaces. Now, this isn't to say that ray tracing won't be in the game, since people would be up in arms if I said that, not to mention that we've already seen it in the Lucia prison clip, but this technology can be used over a wide area like a forest while also saving on processing power. And material tinting is a system that can dynamically change the appearance of objects, whether it be color, the wetness, reflectiveness, etc. This is a more upgraded version of what we talked about with interior generation usage in RDR2 with the different colored clothes. But now this could be used for vehicles as well, to have mud cover the car and then have rain clean it off in a very realistic way. Everything that we've talked about so far is the technology that is referring to GTA 6 overall, but let's quickly talk about something that a lot of people will be hyped to hear if they love online: the session management patent. Managing the amount of players in an online lobby has always been a challenge for developers. It's simple math. More players equals more processing power, which equals more problems. When it comes to GTA Online and a lot of other games, there's usually two ways of managing more players while maximizing the processing power. A, lowering the player count, or B, lowering the detail and graphics of the map. GTA Online has seen both of these fixes in the past. On the PS3 and 360, they could only allow 16 people in a session on top of deleting a lot of details from the world. When they got to the Xbox One and PS4, they were able to increase the player count to 32, but they still had to dumb down the graphics quite a bit. Luckily for us, however, a new patent Rockstar filed in 2021 is looking to minimize this problem. The way Rockstar aims to do this is, instead of having the entire map take up an entire session like we currently have in GTA Online, they will instead cut the map into multiple different sessions with a seamless transition between each. This picture provides a great example. The map is split up into 6 different sessions, and let's say you want to drive from Vice City to Port Gellhorn. You will leave the Vice City session and into the Port Gellhorn session seamlessly, without having to find a new session like you do now in GTA Online. This technology was already used in Red Dead Online, and it works great. The only problem with this is that it confirms that peer-to-peer connection will be returning, which could pose another major modding problem with the PC version. However, Rockstar might have a fix for that as well.
This game, you're not ready for it.